This is The Shit Take. Join me, Stellaby, and my co-host Arrow for the win as we cover everything from entertainment to current events. We hope to normalize the differing of opinions and keep an open attitude toward anyone who would like to share theirs. If you enjoy this content, make sure to like and subscribe. Now let's stoke some flames. I'm having a lot of fun with that fucking game.
It is fun. I definitely have some concerns. Like, it's all best of one right now. There's no side deck, which is fine. It reminds me of early DBS, because DBS was like that too. It was best of ones. There was no side deck or anything like that. But then also we are using the OCG's ban list, and as you saw from the TCG ban list, it's now very much similar. Even my roommate said this. He's just like, why isn't it just a universal game? Like, why like they're already going to be so similar. Why try and like balance that out?
Right. So a few things here. One, the ban list is a mixture actually of last year's OCG ban list, but with the current card pool, because apparently there are some differences. There's a website, I think it's called Road of the King, where they bring that up, where they say like, oh no, there's actually some differences between the ban list that this is taking from and what it actually was. So there's some changes. There's some changes there, obviously because of the card pool. I think it was the Zodiac cards. I think it was the Zodiac card, and I think Dragoon. Like, they weren't on the last ban list. They weren't affected, but now they are. Or they were and then one of them may have been banned and now it isn't. Like, there is some changes to that OCG ban list. That's why it's not just OCG. It's like being specified like the Master Duel ban list. But I feel like having that ban list, which again, the card game would just, it would be bettered from just a universal ban list, even though there's a disparity in when we get the packs.
Yeah.
I feel like that would still help. That one ban list for every player and no side in it being around one, I'm actually all for a game like this. Of course, in real life, you want the game to, playing between friends, you'd want to have like replayability. But for something like this, I really feel like that helps, because it being a digital game, like that you can just open and close whenever, like that freedom to just play whenever you want. It being a one of with no side is, I think, really helpful for that. And also it makes your deck building way more important than it normally is, because you have to think, I need to be able to win in one game. I can't just go, if it doesn't work, I'll take it out for round two. Yeah. Like, you have, like, everything is so important when it's a one of with no side, and I really do appreciate and like really like that when it comes to this game, and I'm actually all for it. Like, I feel like that's just bettering the game, honestly.
It definitely forces you to be a little bit more mindful of different scenarios, for sure. Like with Lightsworns, because I play Lightsworns almost purely. I only use a couple of different cards that aren't normally in a Lightsworn deck. But with Lightsworns, I've had to manipulate my extra deck to a point that I haven't really done in a long time, because it's best of one, and because of this, if I get first turn, I mean, Lightsworn, me personally, I have a hard first turn no matter what. But if I do get first turn, I want to at least have options. At the end of the day, though, I do hope, because I know they're going to be hosting tournaments, I hope that there's an option for best of three. Because I don't know why there wouldn't at least be an option for it. Ranked play being best of one, I like that. It's quick. Yeah. It allows you to progress or, lose quickly. But if it comes to like a tournament play, I prefer best of three for sure. And I don't know. I feel like the game moves a lot faster than in real life. You don't have to actually go into your deck and search for it. The card knows. Like, the card knows exactly what to do, so it pulls those options for you. I honestly feel like if it was a best of three, especially in like a tournament format, I don't think we're going to see people like getting really hindered by the time at all.
Right. I mean, your turns are timed anyways.
Yeah, your turns are timed. Like,
I think something that helps with that too is that time freezes in game when you're searching or when you're activating effects.
Yes, it does.
Unlike real life where
No, not while you're searching. It only pauses whenever your opponent has the option or when there's a digital effect happening.
Right, but the fact that the time stops,
yes, it does,
at certain points,
Time is frozen.
that is very important because there are moments in the real life game where you have 5 minutes left, and you attack. If I attack, and then my opponent's like, "Let me see what I have to respond with," that's burning time. That will cost the game.
That's when time resumes. And the thing is with Dueling Book. You have the option to call a judge. In real life, you have an option to call a judge. I hope they implement something similar, like an admin system, because I have experienced at least 3 times someone just not doing anything, trying to burn out the clock and just waste your time to get you frustrated and then surrender.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, no, dude, like I have you beat. I'm not gonna put up with this crap. Like, go. If you want to wait here, I'll wait here out of spite. And then eventually they realize that their timer is going down, and then they'll finally surrender. But I did see within the newest update, because the game has only been out like 9 days, but they did already do an update, which if for any reason, it doesn't matter what you're doing, if you're idle and don't make a move, it'll automatically surrender for you.
Yeah.
Which I think is good, because slow playing is one of the worst parts of this game in real life, and I don't want to have to do that online. I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Medium also helps that it being an online game means if you're playing on PC and the opponent is like stalling that, you can just open up another window and do whatever. Or if you're playing on phone, you can like have that next to you while like doing something else.
Yeah.
So if they are trying to stall you, it's not like real life where you're like, well, now I'm stuck here and I can't do anything. It's like, oh no, feel free, stall. I'll just go on social media for like 5 minutes while I do nothing.
Well, that's the thing too, because it has the match history, so you can see that username. And if you really do believe that there's something, you can report them. You can contact administration, whatever. But I think with an admin button, it'll be better. And as for like the whole best of one thing, respectively, Stella B, I think you're wrong, and unrespectively, Rain, I think you're an idiot, and here's why. Because no, I think that so the side deck is a handy tool. Sure, it can help you like make up for flaws in your build or just inherently
bad matchups.
Yes, bad matchups, but that's the thing too, because with the downside of that single is like, if you go against something like just hard counter in general, it's really hard for you to come back. Like strictly speaking with the light swords, like if somebody opens up like a dark law against you, your options run really quickly.
You lose the game. Like, it's
easy.
It's
like, oh, like I better hope I opened up like a monster that can beat over it, or an honest, or like a power card,
or a fairy tale normal summon.
Yeah, see, exactly. Like you need that immediate out, or else like you're like, what do I do against this?
Yeah.
And with the avenue of hand traps, it's just like, oh, I don't even need to like, oh, you're a hard counter to me, but I can still like play out of it because I opened up Infirmant Impermanence and this Ash Blossom stop you from doing everything. And sometimes you just might brick. Like sometimes you might just open up that completely unplayable hand that you might have been like, dude, these are easy side out cards. Like it would just get rid of this, and this, replace this, more splashability, more utility. But with best of one, you don't always have that, and that's what I think the problem is.
It's a good thing, but a bad thing too. And I think it's a good thing for you as a player needing to be more prepared for sure.
Definitely.
But it's a bad thing when it comes to matchups, and that's why you're seeing nothing but Eldritch decks running in rank play.
It's so annoying.
It's so fucking annoying, dude.
Yeah, triple skill drain.
Eldritch could run first or second.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
And that's the thing, because like now with the ban list being what it is, like what do you think is going to happen in real life? They're just going to be playing that. It's going to be the easy deck. You can just totally helmet, sit on it, and just do nothing. Like you're getting Fonzied over here, and it's crazy because it takes away so much of like the mental math of this game, the strategy, being able to like see so many moves at play, like, oh, these are my resources. Eldritch doesn't matter. They're playing nothing but floodgates. They can regenerize those resources as many times as they want. Yeah. Their boss monster is literally one card. It's like, oh, I have a card in my hand, discard it, special summon it back. Like it's just
it's funny that you say the mental math, right? Because that's another part of the game that is completely non-existent. The mental between players. We were talking about this in the group chat.
Right.
Whenever you activate a monster effect or a spell, stick to monster effect. Whenever you do something and you activate a monster effect, there's a moment on Master Duel that the opponent can respond. Because Yu-Gi-Oh is one of those games that's real heavy response, timing and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, player interaction is almost a selling point.
Yes, this moment in Master Duel doesn't exist. If they don't have a card, the effect resolves no problem.
Yes.
You'll notice that your opponent doesn't have a card, and if that's the case, you're free to do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is where I'm like, man, because I remember playing Kleeforts. Like with Klee, I like to play it more of like try and interrupt my opponent's play kind of thing, because I used enemy controller and stuff. And I don't feel like you can do that. Like not in this game, because the moment they do something, they're gonna know I have a card that could potentially respond. Just because I have it on the field, people set traps, or they set regular spell cards for no reason, just to make their opponent think they have a trap.
Yeah.
And I feel like there should be at least an option. If there's a card set, like a moment that your opponent thinks, oh shit, well maybe they do have something. Even if it's nothing, I don't have to say, no, I don't want to activate my fucking, I don't know, my generic spell card in response to your monster summoning, because I can't. But he shouldn't know that.
Right.
I want to make 2 points. I'm sorry. One, to what you said, Rain. The interaction, it is almost non-existent in like today's format, which is terrible. And my roommate even said it. He's just like, I don't like the game because it feels like I'm playing solitaire. Either they're doing everything and you can't do anything to it, or you're just setting up the field and like you're either gonna have to get over this insurmountable wall, or it's just like, okay, like they have the outs to everything, and it happens a lot. So the interaction isn't where it used to be. And as for you said, Stellaby, the fact that if you don't have a playable card, it doesn't allow you to like make that response. I do understand where they're coming from, because there's nothing worse than somebody saying like, "Let me look at all my cards. Hold on," and then it just goes back into that whole stall factor, which I hate. Like if you have the card, out it. Don't sit there for like, oh, let me just shuffle, look at everything.
A 10-second window.
Not good.
Just something like that.
If it was something like that, then sure, I'd be all for it. If not, like, I'm glad. Like, if you don't have it, you don't have it, dude. Like, at that point, just surrender. Like, if you know you're not going to be able to stop what they're doing, like, why even bother? Because at that point, you're just wasting time. You know what I mean?
You see, I know that Magic gets away with it on theirs, and I know Pokemon on their app, they get away with it fine. But because there's not a lot of big plays in either one of those decks. Like in either one of those
there
games,
is no interaction.
There's no kind of like big plays, no like combo system that you can go into. But in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's different, Like, honestly, I could be doing something one after another for the entire turn, and my timer might get down to like 200 seconds by the end of my turn, which is a significant amount of time. You know what I mean? That's at least 5 minutes that are going by, because of time that's pausing and my opponent saying whether or not they want to respond. There's definitely a lot of time that's going by, but you don't get those in those other games. So whenever you play those games online, there's not those moments where you're just like, oh, do I need to respond? Am I going to be able to combo on my turn as well? That kind of thing. No, because it's quick and easy responses. But in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's not like that. There's definitely a lot of thought that goes into the gameplay, and thought that goes into the gameplay beyond the cards themselves. And that's the part that I feel like we're missing. It's definitely a trade-off for sure. Definitely a trade-off, because I don't think I want to sit there and wait for somebody to respond with a card that they don't have, for sure. But
I was gonna say, it actually happened to me in ranked, where I summoned a monster, or my opponent went first. They set a monster. They set three cards face down. I summoned a monster, and it didn't do the response.
Yep.
And so I was like, I guess those cards don't do anything. And the whole duel, they never, like, whenever they did have a response, I knew it wasn't the face down because it didn't do it initially. So I was like, he has something in his hand. So I focused on getting rid of that, or like trying to run that out. And then eventually they activated like a trap, and it was like a nothing trap.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, makes sense.
Or like they're all artifacts.
Right. And at that point I was like, okay, now I know there's nothing. But then the second game I summoned, and they literally it was a replay I posted that was actually public, where it was an Eldritch deck, I think, where they set 4 and set a monster, and I summon, and it pauses, and I'm like, oh god, they have something that they can use. and I
Dear
tried baiting it,
Neptune.
and then it was a torrential, and I was like, oh, I can negate that, and it's like actually they also had a skill drain, and I was like, oh,
I can't
okay,
negate that.
I can't negate that, and then I destroy it, and then I go to activate an effect, and it gives the pause again, and I'm like, what other cards does he have? And it was another skill drain, and so it's just a scenario where it's like, I think you can turn off auto, where it'll
Yeah, you gotta turn
automatically
off
chain.
auto.
But I'm not sure if it does that, if it gives you the option to
It
pause in
does.
between each one. But I feel like that's also something that would have to be that's something that I feel like both players would have to agree to, maybe. Just because then that enters its own little mind game. So I don't know if maybe that would be like fair or not. Or maybe like if there was an icon that says like, oh, they have auto turned off, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just something to let them know. Like it doesn't even like that's not even anything game breaking, but I like just some sort of signifier. Just because otherwise, you know, if it keeps pausing, you're like, oh my god, what does he have? But if all is turned off, you're like, oh, he's playing a mind game, which
What,
is a whole nother like factor to it.
what would you do if they did introduce like a tournament aspect and you had to register your deck list? Like no side, it was just best of one. You had to register like what type of deck it was. Would you be in favor of that?
Like in real life.
Or well,
Oh, but they can
starting
see
from the
it.
game, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know after the games you can see your opponent's deck.
Yeah, but I'm saying
So,
like if you knew you were playing against Eldritch and you just were playing like a bad
oh,
matchup and you're just
so
like, eh.
right. So when it has the 3 key cards, I
Mm-hmm.
thought you can see that from your opponent,
No.
but no, it's just for your own use, like to see
Yeah.
what deck it is. I think it also depends. I think it's also whenever you use them, it switches up the soundtrack. But uh,
You
but
can put whatever you want on
I would
those.
like it if you could see those 3 cards, and I
Mm-hmm.
would also like it if they had a card list that you cannot choose from, so that you know I don't select my 3 cards to be impermanence, effect veiler, and max
Yeah,
heat. Like
exactly.
if it
Yeah,
was
it's
like
something
it's like oh
random.
no, it has to be like something from the extra deck,
Yeah.
or it has to be like you know
The
these
archetype.
like
The
it has to
archetype.
be
Yeah.
like it has to be an archetype card, like at least one, or you
Well,
know
then you
something
can't
like
play
that.
non-meta or anti-meta.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh,
And
MST
it's like if you
Regeki Heavy Storm.
it's like, oh, if you don't have any, it's like, oh, I main 3 Raigeki to put as my key card, so you don't know what I'm playing.
I've not
Like you know,
lost.
something weird like that.
I've not lost to a single Tri-Brigade deck.
I haven't even ran into one honestly yet, but
Kinda
then again,
interesting.
I've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of Tri-Brigade Lysolite.
I have ran into
My
a lot
roommate's
of.
playing Tri-Brigade.
I ran into a lot of Eldritch, but
Yeah.
Light Sworns
Ridiculous.
have a hard time with Eldritch, but Adamantipator's not so much.
I'm currently running Orchist, and I'm
That's
gonna probably switch it up because it
Orcus
doesn't
isn't
take up.
bad.
Well, yeah, it isn't bad,
I think you should
but
go like Shadal hybrid, honestly.
yeah,
Shadal's
it's
so
not.
ridiculous right now.
Yeah, it's not bad, but also I want to play something a bit different. But at the same time, it's like every deck right now, when you get to that higher tier, it's like you're gonna need those staples,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like I'm
That's
missing a
yeah.
lot of staples.
That's all it is.
which brings me to my next question. Have y'all been having a hard time like finding the cards you need?
Absolutely. I was
have?
okay. We were just talking about it because even okay. I know I was talking about it with you, Stelby, but then my roommate brought it up again. It was like Blackwings. That was like my deck for like the longest time, and I had so much fun with it. And I was like, you know what? Like I wouldn't mind because I mean I'm playing Blue Eyes right now. That's not meta.
Yeah.
That's nowhere near meta.
Yeah.
I'm having fun with it.
I saw your Karibo kill.
Yeah, right, dude. I beat him with the Link Karibo. That was the coolest thing ever. I was like, dude, like no, forget you. You're not gonna let me do anything. I'm just gonna hit you for 300. Forget it. And like yeah, it bricks sometimes, and sometimes you got to make those plays. But I'm having fun with it. I haven't thought about what I really want to play in meta, because I mean in platinum that's all it is. But I was like, you know, Blackwings could be fun to play again. And then I saw like without pairs of 2s or a play set of 3, it's like something like 20 ultra rares. Like there was no way I can make that. Like even filling out the gold pass, like which gives you all your little, it gives you gems, it gives you rewards to make cards, it gives you little icons, little like accessories for your character's profile. You fill it up with 100 like experience points. It only gives you enough ultra rares to make I think maybe 4 or 5. Like that's not a lot of resources. That really sucks. So hopefully they're improved upon in the future. And again, I'm not trying to be like super harsh with the game. It hasn't even been out a month, but it's like resources and like burning resources to make the dust to craft new cards. It's really difficult. Like, and there's not even a way to like upgrade from like your commons or your rares to like super rares or ultras. And I have about like 3,000 like common dust I'm not going to
Yeah.
use. I have about 1,500 rares that I'm not going to use. I can maybe make like 3 supers and 1 ultra right now. Like it's really tough.
Yeah.
I think Triff, who's like this Yu-Gi-Oh YouTuber,
Hmm.
I think he mentioned on his Twitter he mentioned on his Twitter, oh, this game gets real predatory with the microtransactions fast because once you make like 1 or 2 decks that you like,
Yeah.
you're gonna need to spend money to get packs or to get ultra rares. And he mentioned something ridiculous like people make 20 decks in real life. You try to do that here, it's gonna be way more costly. And I'm like, I don't know anyone who's making 20 legitimate
Right.
Yeah.
decks in
Like
real life. It's not one of those guys. It's like I have every deck, and it's like you're not gonna play all of them.
well, that's the
But
thing too, because like even people who I want to jump on that point because even people who have like, oh, I have multiple decks, it's usually like the engine and like a binder or something. But it's
yeah,
like you don't have more than one set of Lightning Storm in real life or Pot of Extravagance. You don't have enough
exactly.
to make 2 completely full power decks. Like you can be like, oh, well, here's this, but I took out this, this, and this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, I
Like
like
I've never
that.
seen somebody like that. Like that's like having the money to play this game.
Yeah.
'Cause this game is a money game.
I like that
Yeah.
though, being able to splash the same cards into every single deck. I mean, that's fantastic. With
Yeah.
that alone, it's making it to where we don't have to spend that much money.
Yeah.
And
If you already
also
have the card.
like that sounds like more like for collection's sake. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because no one's going to be playing 20 decks competitively. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Like maybe 2 or 3, but that's the thing. Like he's right though. Like once you go past the story mode, you get all like the welcome rewards, like the
Yeah.
first easy gems. You will maybe make 1 deck, because after that you're trying to spend. Like you can't buy the card. You can buy the packs. If you do the rank duels, you get legacy packs. But even then, it's like a collection of 3,000 like decent to really bad cards. Like I haven't gotten 1 usable card from a legacy pack. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And even like the cards that are considered like, oh, timeless classics, like a Blue Eyes White Dragon, it's still an ultra rare. If you're playing Blue Eyes, you got to play 3 of those.
Well, look at the cards
That's
you
why
get for
so
winning
many.
ranked. Like those
You don't
little
get cards
shit
for winning ranked.
Yeah, you do.
Well, you get the legacy packs.
No. There are certain cards. Sometimes, like whenever you win a game, you
Oh
get like a little baby card. It's like,
yeah, they
like
suck.
what the fuck is that about? It's a
Yeah, it's
level
like from
2
Legend of
fucking
Blue Eyes,
normal
like
monster.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
from the first sets. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
even because I've gotten
worthless.
hollow ones of those, and I was like super excited. I was like, oh man, it's
And
gonna be really good.
also you can't dismantle those.
Yeah, yes, all those you can't dismantle, or the ones that you get from your starter or
Yeah.
structure decks.
Now, if
That's
you
why
can
so many
dismantle,
people.
if you can dismantle those cards, I mean, it'd be fucking awesome.
It'd be easier, but it still wouldn't be easiest.
Well, awesome
But that's the thing too.
comparatively.
Yeah, well, that's why so many people apparently chose Blue Eyes as their starter deck, because you get 2 Blue Eyes in that deck. So like you only have to craft the 3rd Ultra or like pull it. Because like when I was like climbing the ranks from like silver to gold, I saw a lot of Blue Eyes decks, man. There's a lot of mirror matches there,
I
and
never
it's just
saw a
like
single
okay.
one, dude. I saw a Dark Magician deck one time. That's about it.
feel
I
like it
saw a
might-
couple of those.
I
I
feel like
lost
it
to a
might
Dark
vary.
Paladin. It was ridiculous.
I feel like it might vary on what you chose your starter because I chose the Synchro starter,
Yeah.
and I didn't run into any blue eyes, but I ran into a lot of
Of mirror matches.
yeah, I ran into a lot of like very early mirror or either very early mirror or like very standard I just run the staples and like
Yeah, a lot of people.
Wait,
Yeah, because like
did
one
y'all
of them,
play with them though?
I did.
Y'all played with the starter deck? I never did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
played with my
I got the tuner one, but I never played with it. I went
I
straight and
played-
started getting light storms.
Okay.
I
Sorry.
played with it.
You know me, man.
I was gonna make Blue Eyes. I was like,
20
okay,
years
I'll,
now.
I'll make Blue Eyes.
Well,
Yeah.
I played with the synchro because when I did the not the complimentary pack, but like the bundles,
Mhm.
and I ended up unlocking the junk
Yeah.
special pack, and I ended up getting Junk Archer,
Nice,
which is
yeah.
very strong. So my first deck, which I think I still haven't built like on the side, my
I want to play
first
that.
deck,
That sounds fun.
literally my first deck was like summon Junk Archer. It was literally
And banish
synchron.
stuff,
It was like
yeah.
summon Junk Archer, banish, summon Armor Arm, equip, attack. That was my
Broken.
strategy. I wish I saved the replay. I don't think I might have, or maybe I didn't know how to at the time. But there was a moment where I had an anime moment where I drew like a tuner that let me like summon all this stuff, and I was able to get over their monster. I was like,
Have
man,
y'all
this game's
noticed
fun.
that?
This game's fun.
Have you noticed that in the game though? Like if you're like really low on points, like you'll draw like that power card and it'll do that little turn, that little tune. It'll go like
Mhm.
ding, and then
Yeah.
you'll get like the Regeki or whatever card you needed. I was like,
And you're
okay, I
like,
was
oh
like, that's
shit,
pretty
fuck
cool.
yeah, boom.
I
Yeah,
think it's supers or ultras, or I think it's either super and ultra or just ultra. But I noticed that it does that when I draw foolish, and
that's cool.
I think the game detects if your life points are like under half, or if there's a big
Mm,
difference, and you draw an ultra rare, then it does like the little like Destiny draw little like tune. But whenever you play your key cards, like your 3 key cards,
yeah.
that's when the actual soundtrack switches. Because there are people who
Oh,
already have the soundtrack online, and it's literally
Okay.
like the soundtrack is literally separated into duel, key card, and then climax. With climax being when the
life
opponent
points
or you
drop
or the
below a certain
opponent get
point.
down,
Yeah.
yeah, to a certain point, or if the game detects that you have enough to kill the opponent, and when you enter battle, it just goes into it. Because I
I
know
like how it has that
online,
the little final blow thing too. Is
Yeah,
pretty cool.
the little
yeah,
warning symbols on the side.
Yeah.
I scream that every time I attack, and my
Oh.
No
brother's in the other
blow.
room, and he's like, "Oh, what are you playing?" I was like, "What do you think I'm playing?"
it's the
I
only
master
it's the only
it.
game that exists right now.
No, it's
Um,
So,
really funny though.
so I don't know if it's because I'm playing Lightsworns, but there are some decks that are just like ultra, 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 ultra. Every single card in the
Hmm.
fucking system seems to be ultra rare.
yeah,
Um, Lightsworn's not one of those. I think Judgment Dragon is an ultra rare, so is
Yeah.
Punishment. But for the most part, everything else is secret, or super,
The
or whatever
super.
theirs
Oh, okay.
whatever theirs is. Um, so I was able to actually get Lightsworns pretty early on, and I've been making like little tweaks here and there. But
Mm.
I have right now I'm running like basically a full Lightsworn deck, full Emancipator, and that's including one Nebaru, and I think I have 2 block dragons at the moment. I still need like one more block dragon, and those are 2 ultra rares, and then of course some others secret or super rares, whichever one it is. But I also have a Clifford deck, Clifford,
yeah.
whatever the fuck it is. It's my climax. Um,
Your climax.
yeah. I
That's
also
a
have
nice
that,
name for it.
and then I also have almost enough to make a Mermail deck,
Nice.
and I still have about 4,000 gems left over.
You have the luck, my friend.
Well,
That is ridiculous.
what I'm doing is before I buy anything, I do my research, right? I'm trying to figure out what deck I
Mhm.
want to make. I'm going into the actual deck builder, finding a
Mhm.
card, buying one of the secret rares for that pack, and
Mhm.
then I just go in and spend like 3 or 4,000 gems to buy enough cards for me to warrant, basically starting it.
Mhm.
But then what I'll do is I'll go buy another separate pack for a different deck that I want to make, and then whatever extra secrets or ultras that I get are the ones that get dismantled and put towards other
Mhm.
things. But I never buy
Smart.
too much, because if I get too many of like one card, then I'm just wasting gems.
Mhm.
And I don't know, it's definitely like a weird little like what am I gonna do? Well, I want to make aliens, right? Or any aliens? There are some aliens that are ultra rare.
Probably, yeah.
Why?
It's usually the boss monster.
But
The
why
one
are they
Yeah.
ultra
the
rare,
boss
dude?
monster.
Why do I
They
have to
want
spend
you.
ultra rare motherfucking currency so I can play
think
aliens?
I think one of the
They gonna make it easier on you.
one of when it comes to making the decks, there's actually a website that I use. It's called like Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro.com.
Mhm.
Usually it's used for Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, but they added a Master Duel section, and it's funny because now on every deck they added where if you were to get this in Master Duel, it tells you how many gems you would have to spend
Hmm.
on all of it. And it's
Wow.
actually really interesting that now that this isn't a bold prediction,
Like a
but
budget
like
build.
within the next few months, we are gonna start seeing people like who do deck list of real life decks go
Mhm.
like, oh, and if you want this on Master Duel, here's how
Mhm.
expensive it'll be. Or people who do decks, or people who do Master Duel will go, and if you want to play this in real life, here's how expensive it'll be.
No.
Hopefully, this
Uh,
moves us more towards a unified game, but
I mean,
I don't know.
I definitely think that this is gonna overtake Duel Links pretty soon. If they're
If
already
not
talking about it.
already.
If not already,
Yeah, well, because that's the thing. Like with YCS and even World Championships, they had like the in-game real cards, and then they had a Duel Links Championship, and you got the same amount of prizes if you won in the mobile game as you did in real life, which I always thought was kind of ridiculous. 'Cause it's just like, oh, I can spend exponentially less in the long run on this, and then win the same thing here. But I think if they're gonna really do this as we're gonna do official tournaments through the Master Duel, then they'll probably have introduced something similar. But I feel like the first this little half season was probably going to be the easiest one to get to platinum, just because it's like everyone, you can do all these different things. How many people do we know that have made platinum with unorthodox deck or something not meta, and then going forward, I know, right? Me too. Uh, it's going to be more of that meta. Like once you get to platinum, it's all meta. It's all this and that. Like you might see the occasional rogue throw in, but a lot of it has to do with you don't drop rank until you get to platinum. Like you lose in platinum, you go back to gold like 5 or gold 1, something like that. And beyond that, no matter how many times you lose, you didn't drop rank. You just kept on going forward. So then at that point, it was kind of more like, all right, well, if I don't have an optimal hand, if I just don't see myself winning this duel, I can surrender, and I was okay with that because I can still just keep climbing if I win. Yeah, you don't ever really have to drop trow like that. You know what I mean?
I think I think at some point, especially as the game goes on, they are going to start updating with the modern packs, the ones that they're missing, because they're only like 2 packs behind, and I think
Yeah. There's
I think
no DPE, so
yeah, I think they're only 2 main sets behind.
Yeah.
But I feel like not only is Duel Links going to get dropped
wins Zector.
almost immediately, but this probably will be like just a digital alternative. And I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if Konami's like, oh, we're just gonna turn this into an esport. Like
I would not be
just
surprised
start
at
hiring,
all.
just start
Konami.
like promoting it as like an esports game.
All the
Um,
best duelists in the world.
exactly, like people
It's
who just don't play it in
time.
real life just do it. I wouldn't mind if they did that because that would get like way more attention. There's people I know who either haven't touched Yu-Gi-Oh in forever because they're scared of how much it is, or because of all the
Hmm.
new rules, but because this has
Yeah.
such a like
It's
I guess
friendly.
robust would be the word, tutorial, and it's free. I've known so many people who are just like,
Yeah,
hey, I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh again with Master Duel, and I'm like, dude,
exactly.
that's awesome. Like finally we get to play, because it's like I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh like my whole life, but it's like I know a lot of people who don't, because they're like, I'm not gonna spend my money to get into that.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to technically.
I will say
uh,
that ranked isn't the friendliest to newcomers and returning players from like the past, but you can set up friends lists, you can set up casual duels, and I'm
right.
sure like I'm really sure that whenever they start that tournament thing, there'll probably be a way that you can set up tournaments just
Yeah.
between friends. Like if you have at least 8 people, I mean, make it.
Well, in
Why
the
not?
survey, it asks, like, did y'all want to see, or would it be interesting to you if we had like a special event mode or a special tournament mode where the lists were based on different
Mhm.
like
Formats.
formats, yeah, and I honestly think that that's what the events are going to be like the actual tournament mode and all that. Konami is actually responsible for one of the coolest tournament modes I've ever experienced in a game, and that was Metal Gear
Metal Gear Online.
Online.
Oh,
Metal Gear Online 2. Like every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then I think it was Saturday and Sunday there were tournaments. There would be like a specific game mode in the game that would only show up on these specific days during the 4-hour period, and you'd sign up for the tournament. You and your team would huddle together, and then the tournament would begin. You would, as you won the games, you'd back out. You'd enter back into the little tournament lobby, and you'd wait with them until the next game, while everybody else was doing their thing. So I mean, they're responsible for, at least in my opinion, for one of the best like tournament options for an online game. They've done it before, and if it's anything like that, I mean, you can't really go wrong.
Yeah.
it's crazy
And,
because I was
but
just gonna say, it's crazy because the way they did the survey, the way that they're trying to get all these players in with like the game being free,
Yeah.
but having like microtransactions, and they're
Mhm.
like, oh, we're gonna have events. You can have a friends list. Like Konami's really trying hard. It feels like they wanted to. It feels like at some point, Konami wanted to try to make an MMO, And then they were like, "We don't have resources to do that. We do have Yu-Gi-Oh." And I said, "I have an idea." And somebody just took a bunch
React.
of like parts of like an MMO and turned it in. Because I'm seeing people who are like, "Man, it feels sad after playing Duel Links for like 5 years or whatever that
Yeah.
everyone's gonna be
This is
changing
not
over."
Konami's first
And
attempt at this.
it's like everyone's gonna be changing over, and like sometimes the app isn't even working anymore because you could tell like they're probably diverging everything to Duel Links. And I'm like, man, this feels like whenever an MMO is shutting down because the sequel's coming out, and everyone's like, I'm gonna have to start all the way over, but at least I'll start over with like people I know. And it's like it's just one of those situations where I'm just like, I think Konami may have, I think they were like secretly trying to jump on the MMO train right now, and they're like,
Yeah,
we can't do it ourselves, so we might as well do this.
there's been like at least three other like attempts at an online Yu-Gi-Oh game. They've all failed by Konami. And then Dueling Book, Dueling Pro, all that stuff was a whole other thing. And I think honestly, a lot of it was just basically seeing what worked in those games, what people liked, and then basically saying, well, now this is official and it's free. But yeah, like you said, the microtransactions. But in regards to the whole like, what do they do next? Like, how do they implement it? One of the things I did like about Duelist Links was the whole event things, how those worked. It was usually like characters from like the anime or like very specific things like oh, do this mission for Yugi and he gives you a dark magician. Like you could do the rewards up to this point. It would give you like gems, card backs, that sort of things. And I'm not sure how the seasons are going to work. But if they did an event similar to like that, like, oh, hey, do this for Yusei, he gives you a Quasar Dragon. Do this for this, anime character, get that specific card. I thought that was nice because it at least let you say, I don't have to spend my gems trying to craft this
and you
or
can
trying
work
to
towards
pull
something. It keeps you on the game
exactly.
longer.
Yeah, because I mean, I already finished all the story mode. Like, it was a lot. Don't get me wrong, but it felt like, oh, hopefully they just keep updating this and add more things. Because one of your daily quests is to do 3 story mode missions.
Yeah.
And if you've already finished it, you're just basically repeating the same thing over and
well,
over
that's
again.
why I left all of the extra ones, like the My Deck and the Loner side. Like I left at least. I completed it so I could get like all the different decks. But then I left them open, the secondary parts, to where I could go back in and use decks that I'm building as like a practice format.
Yeah, because I mean, you can go back.
Also, offline mode. Give us a fucking offline mode.
Yeah,
just because you're doing maintenance on your game doesn't mean that the whole game should be unavailable.
Yeah.
Again, it's like an MMO. When it goes on maintenance, it goes down for everyone.
Yeah.
Like you can't get.
Yeah, because you miss your login. You miss a login reward with that too.
Yeah, at least give us like a practice option, like something that we can just sit and like mess around on, like
offline deck builder or something.
Like I haven't played against anyone on my friends list yet, and I'm sure it's like a very similar thing. But I mean, maybe not a group chat, but like having a way to like talk to that person would be cool. Because otherwise, you're just basically doing.
That'd be great.
Yeah, well, the in-game messaging for sure, but then that opens up a whole other toxic can,
Yeah.
But the problem is that it's all cross systems.
You can only message if you're both following each other, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
Or like, or turn on permissions of just like who you can accept messages.
Or have a secondary chat mode, like within the game itself, that has nothing to do with the person you're playing, but you can access it to talk to friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That'd be cool.
Right.
Like from the options, like you hit the middle button and it brings up the options. You can just hit like a little option that says open chat. And
because I mean,
because you sit there for a long time waiting for your opponent to complete their turn.
Yeah, like because I mean, because spectator duel doesn't even like show you both hands, so it's not like
and it's not live
information exactly. So there's no way like and it makes it seem like it's live too. That's what I hate. Yeah. It is like, oh, live or preparing information. I was like, well, it's not live then.
Yeah, it's just replaying whatever the server saw.
Exactly.
Yeah. Instead of just recording it as like footage and just saving it somewhere else, which is strange. I think that whenever we get to the events, if they're not other formats, they should be like, oh, you face a deck that's like an anime character, and maybe if you beat them, you unlock like those cards. It would be cool if eventually
unlock a story, something.
It would be cool if eventually if it was like, hey, if you have friends that you're following each other, do a multi-duel, and it's like, oh,
Yeah,
do
dude. Oh, tag
Paradox.
duel would be
It's like
awesome. Hell yeah.
or even like do a multi-duel. It's like, oh, here's the
Yeah,
event is beat Paradox with with two other people,
that'd
and
be
it's like, and
badass.
everyone play a different deck, and it just plays like the movie where it's just like, oh, he
Mm,
gets like each of you gets a turn, and he gets a turn, and it's like something weird like that. Like I would love it
that'd be
if they did
cool.
something
That'd
like
be
that.
cool. That'd be
Do
cool. I
something
like that.
crazy, do something weird. Like you have an online game, you're not bound by real life.
Express yourself.
Express yourself, love
I know.
yourself.
It feels like they always say don't put all your eggs in one basket, but it feels like they've put all of their eggs into this basket.
Yeah.
And
They're
I
making
honestly think
unfair
it paid off. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Konami over the past few years, but this one is like a big win. I've been on it nonstop. I mean, I've been home with COVID, so it's been like perfect timing for me.
Konami's
Right,
done a
like-
lot. Konami has done a lot for us to not trust them. I feel they've done a lot more for you to not trust them than anyone. Because it's just all the franchises that they just like ruin.
Some of the
Or
best
they just-
franchises of all time, man. Like some of my favorite video games, and it's just like
It's
Why?
crazy because it's funny because like I'm not okay, like within the last like few years, it's like, oh, I've watched people play like the Silent Hill games, and then it's like just this last year I just started like, I don't know why, what spurred it on, but I just started delving into Metal Gear, and I'm like, man, it really does suck how Konami has two of the best like video game franchises, and they kind of just abandoned them when they stopped making enough money.
not just
And then-
abandon them. Not just abandon them. They kicked the
ruined them.
they kicked the goddamn creator off of it, and then they
Yeah.
came out with a fucking weird zombie survival horror game
Almost a Spider-Man.
based on it. Like it's just like,
It-
why would you do that?
And it's just one of those things where it's like Konami does a lot for you not to trust them, to the point where when they knock it out of the park with a game like this, you hope that they take the positives, and that it's just like, oh man, I really hope they don't like.
Oh
I
no,
hope we don't hear within a year's time it's like Konami kicks main producer or direct creator of Master Duel over like money dispute. Like,
Not
just
enough
something like that.
microtransactions. You're just like,
right? Yeah, he was
here
really
we
just.
go.
He said,
They're gonna make-
Hideo Kojima guy, and they took that personally and locked him in a closet.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It has to do with like even what you said with in regards to the group chat Selby, whenever you had mentioned like, oh, like Konami's done such shit work as a company for so long that even the bare minimum, like you're overly impressed with it because that's them, not
almost
giving
like-
you the shit. Yeah,
Yeah, well, it's almost like, damn, they were capable, that kind of thing.
exactly.
Like
yeah.
you sit there and you watch an employee that you've worked with for so long, and they're just like just do not care to do their job. And you sit for the longest time, and you're sitting and you're thinking to yourself like, how does this person keep their job? And then one day you're sitting there having a hard time, and they're just knocking it out of the park, left
They
and
just
right,
walk
right,
up.
and you're just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck am I that bad? Like, am I the shitty one?
Is it reversed? Have I been the bad employee the whole time? It's like,
Right.
no, like they can't be.
But
They've been moving so fast they look like they're standing still.
Maybe.
I definitely want more of like the solo.
Mhm.
It's weird that I don't think it's weird actually. It's perfect. It makes perfect sense because even in the survey they asked like, do you want to see more solo? And the answer is obviously yes. Everyone wants to see more solo. It's
Yeah.
literally ways to get free cards.
Mhm.
Having
Of
the
course we want to
survey-
see more solos. Like, what are you talking about?
having a survey so soon after the game came out.
Yes.
Yes.
I was so like overjoyed and impressed. The Konami immediately was
Well, that's a
like,
problem
hey,
though.
Well, immediately they were like, "Hey, I think we found some issues. We're gonna release the game as it is now, but we're gonna do a survey to see if people are like okay with it." But the
Mhm.
fact that they released the survey in general instead of just being like going to Facebook and going comment below what you think you would change, something that
Exactly.
they can
They're
easily just,
never
like,
gonna
But
see.
the worst part is,
something
right?
that they can turn off and like look away from.
The worst
Or
part is
like,
that survey doesn't have an option for you to fill in any kind of text.
yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't have
there's
any,
no-
like,
yeah, there's no
other
comments.
It's their predetermined questions. Like, how do you
Yeah.
feel? And secondly, it came out with the fucking dropping of the game. So of
Yeah.
course everyone comes in. They're like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." Me throw a yes. I love it. Right? Just for 50 tokens or 50 coins. Well, no, I fucking waited. I waited a week and a half, and I thought, you know what? No. I'm gonna fucking be as honest as possible. I want to make absolute sure that whenever I answer this fucking survey, I'm giving a legitimate, honest opinion. And so the things that I have an issue with are definitely like the crafting system is cool. I love the crafting system. It makes perfect sense to me. You shouldn't be able to just get rid of one card and then get another one. I
wish you could trade. I wish you could trade with friends on your friends list.
Exactly.
That way
yes.
you don't have
trading
oh my
card
god!
game.
Why even have a friends list?
Yeah, it's literally just there.
Why
There's
even
even
have
a
friends?
gift.
Ever.
There's like a gift option on the goddamn menu. Like, what is that for?
Who is that for?
If we can gift it to one another, that would be awesome. But it's just not the case.
Even being like, oh, you can only gift 3 times a day. That'd be still be like, hey, that's 3 cards I didn't have before.
Yeah.
It's funny too, because even one of my friends said, like, when I had first started, he's just like, oh, yeah, I had a card that actually would have been good. Too bad there's no trading options. Like, you're telling me I'm the one who needs the card.
Keeps opening up these sets to try and get like Destiny Hero cards, and 5 times in a row he pulled Clifford Towers.
There you go.
And he's like, these are all ultra rares that I'm never gonna use, that I'm gonna dismantle,
and that's the thing, right?
Me, like 1.5 ultras. And it's like, if you could just trade them, I'm sure you would find somebody who needs it that could get you something else.
Yeah. And no one can sit here and tell me that Clifford Towers has the same value in a game as Ash Blossom. They're not the same value through the actual game itself. Like, no, it's just not that way. So whenever you dismantle a Towers to put towards an Ash Blossom, it makes sense that you can't just go 1-for-1 trade it. I perfectly get that, especially because you don't want to make it to where, oh, you just buy a shit ton of cards and trade them out for whatever the fuck you want. Of course, that doesn't make any sense. The point of it is to be random, you know. We open packs, and I understand that. The problem is your packs, like one of your packs is like, well, get random cards from 7,000 cards, and you're just like,
exactly.
I hope I get what I'm looking for. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's your fault for not going for the specialized pack. Oh, you mean the one that'll give me 5 out of 8 of the cards that'll still be random?
Not just that, but you don't tell anybody about the secret packs.
Yeah. There's secrets.
Thank God everyone looked online first. Like, come on.
I found a secret pack because I opened when I got the junk card, and it was like, secret pack. You got
secret pack.
Secret pack. You got the junk,
I want that to be a soundbite.
Secret pack.
Secret pack. And then as soon as I see it, I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I opened like more packs, and it was like, you unlocked 10 secret packs because each card you pulled unlocked one. They're only here for a day. So hope you open it while you can.
Too.
Other than that, you're gonna have to refind it. I am just missing from the Stardust pack a Stardust and a Quasar. That's all I'm missing. But I can't make them because I'm not gonna waste my tokens to make them. And so I'm like, just give me the 2. And I've pulled like I think 2 copies of every card in that set besides those, including ultras. And I'm just like, give me the cards so I can make this deck. I was like, that's all I'm asking, so that I can have them and I can viably use them. Because I also want to play Malefic, and you need 3 Stardust for that because you run 3 Malefic Stardust. So it's like these secret packs are just like so strange. Like
they are. I do find them a little bit like super weird. I haven't had a problem though finding like the cards I need. Like, and it's like I said, you know, like I put like maybe 4,000 to each pack itself, and eventually I'm able to like to dismantle and generate my own new cards. I don't know. Maybe I don't. I don't know if I dislike that or if I like it though, because I want to play other decks like Aliens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to play stuff like, luckily, right, Emancipator uses Kawakimeru, and I like the Kawakimeru cards. Back then I used to collect them, and I used to think, man, I can't wait for these cards to be actually playable. And
they've always been splashed, like
cool.
with Rock Stun, because the Rock ones actually did things,
Yeah.
or the Drago to negate spells, light and dark summons. But yeah, like, because some of them it'll be like, oh, you can click on it and it'll say how to obtain, and it'll tell you what packs are. Other ones just like, oh, you haven't unlocked it yet, or this or that, and it's just like, oh, well, I don't have that secret pack right now because it only lasted a day.
Yeah, but if you want to play like a pure Kawakimeru deck, right? Like, say you're just playing Kawakimeru, not splashing it, you're gonna be spending the same amount of tokens or the same amount of gems on those cards as you are on Tri-Brigade, on Zodiac, in these tier 1 decks, and that seems a little bit odd to me. I don't feel like I should have to be spending that much to play Aliens, to play Ojamas. Like, No, it's not the same thing. It's
Yeah, like
just not.
there needs to be like a downgrade.
I dumped a lot to get the Orcus cards I needed, to get the Maxi and Ash Blossom set,
Yeah.
because those are like core staples, and then to get like the Phantom Knight and then like some synchro stuff. And it's like, wow, now if I want to make any other deck, I'm gonna have to try way harder to pull them or start dismantling things, because I've already spent so much making this that like it's gonna be hard to get those gems back.
Yeah.
Like to the point where like even now I'm just like, man, I kind of want to try this other deck. Like I want to, like I was thinking, I was like, maybe I should do Time Thief. I should do like Time Thief Phantom Knight, because that's like something that people do. And I was like, oh wow, cool. The Raid Raptor is an ultra rare that you would need. That's like, okay, understandable. That's a search. And then Time Thief, the main Xyz, is an ultra rare. Okay, that makes sense. Then the rest of it's all supers. But then you look at like some other archetype. Then you look at like other archetypes, like Synchron or like Stardust or like Junk, or like Scrap, where like man, all their extra decks are ultra. All their extra decks are ultra. Like their search cards are super. Their other search cards are super. And it's like, oh man, this it's inherently harder to make a Scrap deck than it is to make a Phantom Knight deck. And it's just like what dictates what dictates what.
Yeah. Like apparently Naturia is ridiculous online right now too. Like I think it's one of the ones that can't be destroyed by battle that lets you special summon another one from deck. Like it's like, oh, look at this being splashed everywhere. But yeah, even going back to like the Blackwings thing, it was like all the core synchros were ultras, and it was all the ones that you need 2 of, or the one that you need 3 of. I think Black Whirlwind was like a super, and then like one of the traps was an ultra. It was just like, man, dude, like there's just
Zephyr is an ultra, and he's like a key card. He's like,
I was just like, man, like there's just so much that you have to put into these decks, and it's like I made Blue Eyes, and I was like, okay. As I saw other Blue Eyes decks, I was like getting a little bit here, a little bit here, a little pieces, and it's like, okay, I managed to save up about like 5,000 gems, but it's like, well, I don't know when that update's gonna come. I don't know when the new pack's gonna come. Do I even try and make anything right now, or I kind of just wait? Like I don't know.
Going to double check this, but when I was looking at Insectors, because I play Insectors, Dragonfly is an ultra. I think everything else is just super or maybe even rares.
Yeah.
Dragonfly has only ever been a common, like in the actual game, or like a rare in the actual game. So it's like, oh, it's because it's a key card. It's like, well, yeah, but you know what else is a key card? Like all the equips. So how come only Dragonfly is an ultra? It's like, oh, well, no
the equips are all ultra though. Like the Axe was Excalibur, but if you look at the cards that are collectors rare, it's like the new spell card, Dragonfly, and Hornet. Like collectors rare, and those are so damn expensive. Like I was like, oh my god, I'm sure it'll just keep going up.
The only ultras in the Insector list is the rank 6, Ixabeetle, and Dragonfly. Then the only supers is the Equip Sword, the Link, Hornet, and Gigamantis. The rest of them are rares, and the rest of them are rares and normals.
Because the Equip Sword and Gigamantis were already ultra in their first packs. They were also ultimate. Exabeetle was a secret rare, and Hornet, of course, was super. And then Centipede became super rare in an OTS pack. I remember I played that deck too. I remember how expensive it was.
But it's just crazy that it's just like, they choose, like, ultra rares are obviously just cards that are used, that are like good. But some archetypes are just, we know people are going to play this archetype, let's make them ultra to force people to buy stuff.
Absolutely.
Other archetypes are, no one plays this or no one has played this years. You don't have to worry about making it too expensive. Yeah. And it's one of, and I feel like that's going to be like the situation going forward. And my biggest fear is that eventually they will start upgrading rarities for cards, and not in the sense of, oh, I can upgrade it, but they'll start saying like, actually that super rare is an ultra now, because more people are using it, and now it's going to be harder to get. I feel like downgrading would be easier if they want to cycle cards in and out.
Yeah.
But like as new sets come out, but I feel like eventually Konami will mess up and they'll go, we're actually going to start upgrading rarities.
I mean, they already have. Harder. In core sets, they took out rares, so you're always guaranteed hollow. There's like 20 super rares now. they bumped up the amount of secret rares, but not the amount that you get per box, which was stupid. And they're like, oh, don't worry, we're not going to do ultimates or ghost rares anymore. And they're like, oh, we'll do them in side sets, which is why the OTS packs got so expensive.
Which
and
sucks
then they
because
created
those are the best ones.
And then they created a whole new rarity, which was even more ridiculous with the whole collector's rare. They have like the collector's rare in the side sets, which is like the Dragonfly, the Hornet, and then in the base sets they have the Starfoil rare now, which is usually 3 or 4 secret rares of that set, or just a really strong staple. But then they go a step above that and they add a really busted, broken staple card from a past set as a secret rare. Like whenever they made Starfoil DD Crow, like that wasn't a $500 card. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they did it like in all these sets. They put, oh, here's Starfoil, Stardust, Starfoil, Black Rose, all these other random cards that became Starfoil. And it just made like the collectability of this game skyrocket, of course, with the secondary market. But it's just like why would you make something like that and then make it not accessible? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And of course, like with this game, like it's gonna be a patience game of what they want to address first, because they've been addressing a lot of issues lately with the game, like in the notices.
Yeah.
And I noticed that there's a lot of issues that happen to me. Like for instance, if you try to attack and then you choose to activate an effect, but you back out of it, it just ends the battle. I actually had a game where I had 3 monsters in the field, and I attacked, and it said, "Do you want to activate the effect?" And I said, "It said, do you want to activate the effect?" Instead of clicking cancel and going away, I accidentally clicked like accept, and then I was like, "Okay, fine, I'll do it." And like I chose like nothing, or I chose like something that like wasn't affecting the field, and it just made it so that all my monsters can't attack now. Like the game just like this. There was just an issue where the game just said, "Oh well, you activated an effect," and then it just put me in the main 2, and I was like, "No, I'm in battle," but for some reason it ended it, and it wasn't any of the effects that ended it, because I had multiple monsters on the field and different effects. But it was just like, okay, that's weird. And then I see a notice the next day that says, "We're addressing the notice where sometimes the battle phase will end or won't operate correctly based on what you have." And I'm like, "Oh, so everyone is getting this?" Looks like,
yeah, but that's a good thing though, because that means they're jumping on it quickly.
Yeah, but there's also these little issues in there where it's like, I feel like they play tested it enough, but whenever these issues come up, if it costs you like a game or anything, then once it gets recognized, you're like, that's cool. But now I'm fearing that whatever team they have working on it, like I hope it's big enough to do both, to balance the game and mess with the issues, because the last thing I want is, hey, we fixed all the issues in the game, except for the balancing, because the team's working on both. Now we're gonna work on balancing the game. Then new cards get introduced. Oh no, now there's new issues, and we're stuck in this loop where Konami's just like, you can have one or the other at a time.
Yeah.
Right? No, it's like
they should have a big enough team to tackle both.
Like if you don't check the field before you activate an effect, even though the only legal target is something on your field, it'll make you do it. And it was like, oh, sacrifice this monster, pop 1 card on the field. And I was like, okay. And I was like looking, and I was like, activate effect. And it was just like the only thing was on my field. I was like, that's really stupid. Like, why would I do that? Essentially -2 myself. And it was like no cancel button, no way to go back, no way to check any other.
Well, that's because you activated the effect.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's just like, okay, like there should at least be like a cancellation sort of thing right there.
What it is
you're locked in. You're locked in.
Exactly. They've basically set it to where if a judge was called and they said, well, he said he activated his effect, and you're just like, well, obviously I didn't mean to activate my effect, the judge is gonna say, well, did you say it? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean I get that definitely, but like they should have a way that you can look at like that's the thing though, because like it says like the effect will activate, and there's like not a way to like bring down the window to make like look at the field first. And I think they just should be able to like, hey, let me look at my resources real quick, because sometimes it'll be like that with certain
like
cards.
Like how you can hit triangle. Like whenever you're like looking through the deck options, like if you're trying to summon a monster from the deck, you can hit triangle and like take a look at the field again. And
exactly,
then once you hit
like something like that.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, like that should be like. Otherwise, it's like, okay, like in the conceivable notion, why would you have activated the effect like that?
So I know when it gives you the notice of like activate or not, you can click on the window and it'll minimize it and it lets you look at the field. But there's but like if you were to activate it by accident, there's no way to back out of that.
Yeah.
Or if you were to activate it, there's no way to click on a card and like there's no way to like you hover over the card and like it'll show you, or you click on it and it'll show you and it gives you another confirmation.
A replay occurred.
But I do wish that it was like, oh, if you activate a card and you like don't want to, if you activate a card by accident, like I wish there was like something where it gives you the option to like tell your opponent like that was a mistake. Like, would it be okay if I reset it? Or like, something a bit more casual, like when you realize you can't do a play and they're like, no, it's fine, you can put it back or just send it to the grave or something weird like that.
Yeah.
Something a little bit more friendly.
Overall, though,
Herculad.
overall, I think they're doing a damn good job. If I'm being honest, the app is really fluid. I like.
I don't want to.
Even with the issues, like I would give the app like a high recommend and like a near perfect score, like with an asterisk of just like, look, there's gonna be some flaws.
Of course,
but,
That we're gonna.
like, this game is perfect.
We're gonna give this our official score.
This game is perfect for anyone who's like, yeah, I remember playing Yu-Gi-Oh, or I've never played. It's like, dude, just give them this game. Like, just
get it.
Like it's not that big of a game to download in general either.
Yeah, it's tiny. It takes up no space.
My roommate hasn't
as much
played.
Space like Team Fortress 2. It's perfect.
My roommate hasn't played like online or in person. I think in like maybe like 3 years, somewhere around there, maybe more. And I mean, he's playing it. He's enjoying it so far. We had like a friend of ours from like middle school who hasn't played like in probably closer to like 10 to 12 years. He's playing. Like even one of his coworkers is playing. Like it's a game that literally anybody can pick up. Like where it comes to like crafting and making a more meta deck, then obviously yes, that's going to be a little bit trickier. But you do get some cards. You get different decks by doing the story mode. It at least gives you a fair chance.
And just
so I'll say that.
And if you're gonna start and you're looking to build like a specific deck, just utilize YouTube. There's a lot of people out there that are putting videos out on like, how to be most efficient with your
Master Duel's
currency.
Popping up now. There's all these. A lot of the Duel Link. I think you might have even mentioned this earlier. A lot of the Duel Link YouTube channels are switching over to Master Duel already. They're like, oh, play like the first tip is like, oh, play it on PlayStation. You get the free 50 packs, legacy packs, and then like I said, you can just transfer that. Yeah. Like get it on there, then transfer to wherever you want. PlayStation Plus members, you get that free 50 legacy packs, and maybe you might find some good cards in there. I didn't have the best luck. Yeah, I didn't have the best luck with the legacy packs, but who knows? Other people are luckier than me when it comes to RNG.
That's loud.
RNG.
What?
I put on the game like.
You opened up the game.
It was music, man.
You open the
definitely
door.
The music can be more of it.
Everybody rock the dinosaur. Yeah, like I mean, go to the settings. You put that down.
I've actually been playing it like on pretty much mute because what's happening is in Final Fantasy I'm leveling up like a DPS and it takes like 16 minutes to get into like a dungeon. So I just opened up Master Duel, my other monitor, and I'm just like, I'm gonna just play Yu-Gi-Oh while I'm waiting. So I just like have everything kind of like lower volume so it's not like interacting with itself.
I hope that they increase, like I even think your brother was talking about this, like increasing the soundtrack, like adding new tracks. I wouldn't mind doing like some anime stuff. Yeah, character themes, absolutely. Like I would love for that to be like, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed the story mode, the solo mode. Learning about different card lore has been really fun, and there's literally hundreds of more archetypes they can add to this.
Yeah.
And I think as long as they continue to add to that part of the game, whether it's events or story modes, it'll be really good. I don't want them to be like Fortnite and just like completely expand upon the stupid battle royale thing and then completely ignore what the story mode was supposed to be. And like, my God, I will never let that go. That was supposed to be
about that recently, and I immediately thought of
no.
Because the guy was just like Battle Royale eclipsed it, and now that's become the main mode. And I was like, yeah, it has.
Dude, I hyped, and I'll say it on the record. I'll say it here on the show, man. I hyped this shit. I was a big Fortnite guy. Whenever I saw that trailer at like E3, I don't know how many freaking years ago now, I was like, this looks amazing. There's like a weird crafting system.
2001.
It was not 2001. Really? Like, that's like 20 years ago. What are you talking about? No, you idiot.
Idiot.
I was about 7 years old, and I was like, I'm gonna play Fortnite. It's gonna be pretty sweet. I can't wait for the Optimus Prime skin.
They were waiting for the PS3 to come out so they could have it as a debut title, and it kept getting delayed.
Launch title: PlayStation 2, Fortnite.
It was the tech demo.
They're never gonna make a Fortnite 2. This game has everything.
They had a Final Fantasy 7
those polygon graphics
as the tech demos for the PlayStation.
Jesus, featuring Cloud Strife of the Fortnite expansion set. Devil May Cry, Dante. No, like that game looks so cool. I love the crafting. I loved like how you literally have this amount of time and then you have to do wave of zombies.
Yeah.
You can help out friends. It just looks so cool. And then it came out and I remember just not I was playing it and I was like, this is not what I was told it was gonna be. Like I saw the trailer, the gameplay. I was like, what is this? This is a completely different game. And then it started coming with all these different advertisements and like, insert marketing here, third party development. Oh, is this character pack of the jetpack and Spider-Man this with John Wick and Optimus Prime and Shrek and all these other characters? I was like, what is going on here? Like, are there zombies? It's like, no, it's Battle Royale. Oh, remember PUBG? This is like the other thing. But Nerf is going to sponsor us. Yeah, exactly, right? and it's true, it's based on that, but it's like, get out of here. Like, this is a completely different thing.
So is there anything else y'all want to add?
To that, I mean, closing thoughts. I mean, do you want to give a rating on this? Is that what we're doing?
No.
A guess score from Rain?
I mean, my guess score is perfect with an asterisk.
Okay, well, he said it. We'll put that in the asterisk there.
Yeah, I think it's still a little too early to actually like.
Yeah.
Because
what I
don't want to do.
There's plenty of time for Konami to mess it up.
Exactly.
Wow.
And what'll happen, right, is they have to do maintenance. And you have to keep doing maintenance, and whenever issues pop up, you have to take care of those issues. So obviously, that's what we want to see is issues being taken care of. But there's a whole element of the game that cannot even be reviewed, which is like the events and the tournaments. I'm still waiting for those. I don't know when those are planning to be utilized, but that's what I'm looking forward to. If it's going to be like different,
that's fair.
Different after March. I'm gonna call it after March because this is already the end of the fiscal year, so they released this at the end of it to try and see what it would be. That way they could have some sort of report, and then they'll be like, "Hey, it made good money. Can we start off the new fiscal year with it?" And it's like, okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean,
because Konami likes to release all their stuff in like February because of that.
Yeah, I just want to see.
What would you do? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just want to see max capacity. I just want to see everything that they have planned, and I want to play it all. Because
firing all cylinders.
That's what I'm being showed, but I'm not being able to access like half the game.
What would you do if they kind of like open the borders a little bit and just be like, oh, it's a Konami property, and they had like story mode missions for like Solid Snake and like Castlevania and Silent Hill?
That'd be a good way to market it because now Smash Brothers is over. Everyone's jumping on that whole crossover.
Yeah, well, hold on, because like somebody like Snake would be playing like with a Spiral deck. Silent Hill could play like zombies, something like that. Castlevania could play vampires, and you just have to do like specific story missions for them. And I mean, obviously, you wouldn't get like a Metal Gear card or anything, but you can get like a little token or a little accessory. Would you feel like that's?
Yeah.
Would you feel like that's just like completely bastardizing it, like blending something that shouldn't be blended?
I mean, they're going to. I feel like that's something Konami.
I saw the look on his face as soon as I mentioned it, so I really want to hear that raw.
I would feel
I
like
want to hear the raw emotion.
If you respect and you like your own content that much, go make a fucking game with them.
Yeah.
Don't put them in anything else. Don't rely on them and monetarily in a sense that you can put them in other stuff and profit off of them. But without actually showing them the true respect. If you respected Metal Gear, you wouldn't have fired Kojima.
It's not gonna be like Okada and Battle Spirits or what?
I'm hearing
literally professional Japanese wrestler Okada, whose wrestling company is owned by the same company that makes Battle Spirits, inserted him into an episode. Yeah, he's just in it. He's fanatically in it.
He's Fight Vanguard too, which is
Vanguard.
He's in the no, what is it called?
Is it White Shorts?
No. Oh my god.
Buddy Fight.
Buddy Fight.
Yeah.
He's in Buddy. I was like, I should know this. I have like 2 Buddy Fight decks. He's in Buddy Fight.
That happens.
I'm hearing you say that, and I'm just gonna be honest. It's your words are coming in one ear, and out of the other ear, I'm hearing, oh my god, I want to hear Liquid Ocelot play. I want to hear Liquid Snake play Yu-Gi-Oh. I want to hear his
plays Gradles.
I want to hear his voice. I want to hear his voice actor just talk about memes and how to play Yu-Gi-Oh.
He's like bang bang bang.
My fate will not be decided by my shitty top decks. And he's just like cheating.
He's just banding keys, and he has in his fake hand. He has a card.
It's his dual disc is just he's sitting inside of Rex, and he just has his dual field like in the season 1, and and he's
That's
still in
crazy.
and he's just shirtless, just playing.
I
just
would
playing
love a
videos.
Duelist Kingdom mode where you just get like random filled power bonuses and cards don't work the way they're supposed to.
I'm trying to find a way to integrate this, but like I feel like eventually Konami, if this does good enough, they'll be like, we're just gonna make a new Tag Force game, and it's just gonna be based off of
That'd be
based off
badass.
of Master Duel.
Tag Force is where the best.
That's another thing that they can improve on, by the way. I saw another video. I forget who said it, but they were like, why the fuck are there basketballs and like toy cars?
So dumb. Like, who is using
you
this?
already
like,
have the
people...
art. Like,
Yeah.
just fucking make them into a goddamn hexagon and sell them. Like, why is it so hard?
I don't know about you, but
I know
like
you have a
my
car.
I like having my car. I like using my car.
Really
Damn
dumb.
in my car.
I was like, who's using these? Like, and now you're seeing everybody have their freaking Patrick Hoban looking upstart goblin face.
Look, man, you rev up your car. All right, you show your opponent that you're for real.
I'm in love with my car.
Then you start doing donuts while you're synchro summoning.
But that's what was so frustrating about it, right?
Where's the dual runner exactly?
What
like,
frustrates me is they put these out, but like you remember on Duel Network, whenever you progress through the ratings, right? And you had so many wins and so many whatever, you got different like artwork that you could put on for your character. This game, Konami should have come out with thousands of options. Because you have the artwork already.
There's like
you
3.
made the fucking game. Like,
yeah,
you're not playing like catch up with.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Whatever. They could have released like just generic photos throughout the anime or generic photos throughout the game that you could put in as like your little character like profile. Why are there not thousands of options? Like. That's a really good way to make us waste diamonds.
Because they're in the shop too. Like you have to buy them.
Yeah.
So why would you just limit it to like 4 or 5?
It's so weird.
Yeah.
That and the game, like the actual field, that I can understand because it's like an actual thing within the game itself.
Yeah. It's like Hearthstone.
Yeah, but the images, no. I don't understand that. I don't know why we don't have like the banner across the top of our profile, the little image. The little character, yeah, I understand those are like in-game models. So, like right now, mine is Monolith.
I think Grass Crab is still the best one. Like I haven't changed it. I was like, it just looks so much better than everything else. I'm not gonna have an inline skate as my little buddy. I'm sorry.
I play Klee though. But I play Klee, so I have Clifford Towers, and then Towers, Monolith. And then I have the Monolith.
I have
but no lights.
Erebus, the Monarch, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I do want to play Monarchs eventually, but that deck's expensive also. That has a lot of ultra rares. But
but you get like the free thing.
It is.
Yeah, you get a free Monarch deck.
It is wondering how they just don't have like a select a card like from your deck and that becomes your icon, like something weird like that.
Right? So much more sense.
All they have to do is literally like hexagon the image itself.
Yeah,
that's all they have to do is take their entire selection and just.
They actually have the frame already. Something you can select. You can just
which is so dumb
and drag it over your favorite card, and now you
earned a frame. Like, oh wow! Like I was like, I don't even see a difference. Like this is slightly tanned, light tan. And
the
brown
platinum one is like a little bright blue.
Yeah. But it's still so weird.
My apologies, Your Highness, with your platinum icon.
I was just saying. Oh my god!
I literally just got platinum last night. And
Diamond.
I was like, all right,
there should be a diamond league, and it should be purple.
That's what he said. Yeah. Yeah. Well, because I mean, you get like jar
legendary
as a little buddy.
Orange.
Nice.
No, I'm just kidding.
Legendary is just Exodia. It's just a big old like.
You are Exodia.
You just become Exodia. Like your life is stolen from you as you wait for somebody to collect all pieces.
The granddad shows up and says, "You're mine now." Takes you and puts you in a jackbox.
Precious.
The rewards.
He goes like Bilbo. The demon face.
The rewards for the battle pass are not significant enough.
That's what I said. I literally said that. I was like, you maybe get 5 ultra rares. Like, it sucks so bad.
I thought it was 100 ultra rare pieces.
Is it total? Then that's like only 3.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I feel like you're not wrong. I feel like
I did it so that I can have Construct as my background.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like Construct is like one of the last ones you get. I think at like 50.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm at like 89 right now. But you get like two months worth of ability to go up there. But that's the thing. Like most people already have it. So then it's like, oh, it really wasn't worth it.
Yeah, normal Duel Pass and Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel grants players rewards up to level 50, while the Gold Pass allows players to earn rewards all the way up to level 100.
When does that reset? That's another question I'd like to know.
I think 80 days is the Master Pass, is the pass.
So if you already maxed it out, you're not going to get any rewards for the rest of that?
Yeah. It's usually how battle passes work.
But I mean, like in general, like even for regular.
No, like that's just for the little battle pass. You still get your daily and like unlimited rewards.
Oh, okay. That sucks. Like, why would I not play after that 50 days then?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the normal Duel Pass rewards are 30 ultra rare points, 30 super, 30 rare, 27 normal, Upstart Goblin icon, and 190 gems. The gold Duel Pass rewards are 600 gems, 100 ultra rare, 100 super rare, 80 rare, 68 normal, El Shadal monster art wallpaper, and Pot of Greed mate. But that's at 100. So at 100, you'd get 130 ultra rare and 130 super rare. That's 4.
So only enough
cards.
to make 4. That sucks. That is not worth it. It should have been at least 10. That's ridiculous. That's not even enough to get like 2 play sets of one thing. Yeah, they need to see
2 sets of 2, hoping that you pulled the other ones at some point.
Yeah, well, not to mention, this was like a 2-week long season. So I mean, they need to tweak that, man. Especially because it was like 1,000 gems, right? It was something like that. It
was 600.
600. Yeah. They need to tweak that, make it like at least twice as better than that.
I think so.
I don't think anybody's gonna argue against that. But like, no, it's too much rewards. You scale it back. Make a platinum pass. Platinum pass, please.
That way, I can say that I'm better at it.
It's still only so many rewards over the course of like a 75-day period.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you've already finished it, then like you're not getting anything else.
Yeah.
And if it's lasting that long, like, are you supposed to buy another pass while this one's still going on? That just feels like a waste, honestly.
They only have the one. I doubt they'll have it overlaying like that. Yeah. I think it's literally it's literally just to create this false scarcity that you only have a certain amount of days to do this, when in reality you're gonna probably get it done in half of that, and then you feel like you might be missing out because you've been playing without having.
What level are you on the battle pass?
I'm like 89. I'm almost done.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like because it's 80, and it's just like, no, you just said half the time. I was like, I've done it an eighth of a time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And here's the question: do you think that these rewards will be exclusive to this, and then you won't be able to get that again?
Yes.
Like, you missed out. Well, okay. So like,
they're gonna do that until like a year from now. They go, you can get past battle pass rewards.
That's what. That's where I was going to. Yeah.
That's literally how battle passes work. Fortnite does.
You're gonna get like, because the next one's gonna be like a different pot, and it's like, you don't have all the pots. You don't have the extravagance and the prosperity.
I'm sorry, you don't have the avarice pack. You only.
Because I remember one of the reasons why I hated Hearthstone is because like I missed like one card back on their like rewards thing, and I was just like, damn, I guess I'm just never gonna get it. And it was like all the ones that you'd finished were like the little like leagues at the time, the points, and it was just that one that was missing. It was just super annoying. I was like, damn it.
Yeah, the card backs could use some like some better.
Some of them are cool, but it just reminds me of like the really bad sleeves that they would make before they like got higher quality, and it was just always sticking.
I don't like Hearthstone because I played it on mobile first and it burned my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a lot of space too. Yeah.
Like, it's on PC.
The game was
now.
a battery.
Thank God.
That was a battery drainer, I swear to God. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this content, consider liking the video. Also, make sure you're subscribed to be considered in our giveaways. We'll hold them routinely as our subscriber goals are met. This has been The Shit Take. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy, and we hope to see you next time.